I was out surfing with my buddy Tyler from the earlier story, and I felt like this weird nodule in my neck, and it ended up we get it tested, whatever, and it was thyroid cancer. And before I knew that it was probably the best cancer to have, like as I was sitting in the doctor's chair as he told me it was like cancerous, obviously you start running through like so much stuff in your head. And so I had no research, didn't know anything about it, and didn't really learn much about it till a couple days later, but started kind of running just as a way to get out of my own head. I was like, it was just like, oh, so annoying just sitting in my, because I lived alone at the time. So I'm alone, majority of the day. And you just have all these thoughts like spinning. Um, and until like we had the follow-up meeting I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks later, with the doctor to figure out like what's going to be best course of action to like get rid of it. Because I was like, okay, well, some stuff online saying like chemo, some saying you can get it cut out, some saying you can inject like a radiated piece of something into it and it'll kill it off. And so in my head I'm like juggling all this stuff and just needed a way to kind of like just get away from it. And I would just start running, just throw the headphones in, just like go out, start running. So then I started running kind of like 5-ish miles. And then with like anything, it just like became a game to me in my own head. Like, can I run this faster next week?
Mm.
And then can we run it faster the week after? And end up signing up for the New York City Half Marathon. And then still had no idea how to train for it. So I got some plan from Hal Higdon, like advanced half marathoning or something, and did most of my miles way too fast. Like was not adhering to the 80% slow miles rule and got some overuse injuries, whatever. And then we raced the New York City Half. It was like horrible. Like hated the experience. Just like a lot went wrong. Didn't hit my goal time. But I think that was like the switch of in my head of, well, okay, you failed it, so now you have to go and and run the sub 130 before you can totally be done running if you want to be done running. And now it's like now we're in way too deep.
Well, I want to go back to the cancer piece
Yeah.
because how old are you when you find out you have cancer?
That's a good question. I was 23, I think.
So 23 years old,
24.
23 or 24, you find
Yeah.
out you have cancer. A lot of people are never going to experience that.
Mm.
What does that feel like? And where does your mind start running when you get that diagnosis?
Yeah, like, and I'll just preface like I don't want to make it like a sob story, like feel bad for me, because a lot of people hear cancer and it's immediately like, oh, you should feel bad for this person. Like this was the best type of cancer to have, and it was very easily treatable.
Mm,
I just didn't know it when I first got the diagnosis,
mhm,
and so I was very much of the mindset of you hear cancer and it's like big, bad, scary thing.
mhm.
First off, we caught it super early, and then it was a surgery, and still have the left half, and it's kicking. Like I'm not even on Synthroid, like synthetic hormone, and because it's overproducing, and my levels are back where I was pre removal of the right half. Um, and so like immediately my mind is just, I think it went through like multiple stages. The first stage was the first day where I played the like woe is me card in
Mm,
my head. Because I've always tried to be very healthy and eat healthy and exercise, whatever, what they always try to tell you to do. So I was like, how is this even possible? I'm 24. I eat healthy. I don't drink. I don't smoke, never have. Like, how's this possible?
yeah.
But I think I ended up coming to the realization that cancer is one of those things where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Mm,
And like you, it really puts into perspective, like I think it's sped up my maturation process in my head of like, you have a finite window to try to do something here. And you better hurry the fuck up
mhm,
because you don't know when that shit's gonna be taken. You don't know how long you're gonna be sitting with all this energy. like ready to do shit and be motivated. And yeah, that shit was like, it still makes me emotional thinking about it because it's like shit sped it up quick. Like start to panic, like I haven't done shit,
Mm.
you know? And that was like stage one. Stage two was like, fuck this thing. Like this shit ain't like that. I signed up for the half marathon when I knew I was prepping for surgery. I was like, this shit is nothing. Like it's not gonna hold me back from doing shit. Um then stupidly, got surgery, like got surgery at NYU. My parents drove me back home to Virginia to recover at their house. And the next day, like 18 hours post surgery, I went to the gym and was like hitting the assault bike because I couldn't run. I was like hitting the assault bike. I was like fuck this thing. I'm like I do not care. I don't care if it's like painful, whatever. Like, and it was like so stupid at the time. Like, don't do that shit if you had just had surgery. Looking back on it, ended up like getting a chest infection from it. Like, was on like heavy antibiotics. My surgeon was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And then I was like chilled out for a week or so. But yeah, I think it's just kind of that it like totally shifted my mentality of like, you got to go, man. Like you don't the clock's ticking for you to do something with your life.
Mm.
And listen, I mean, it's not to say like that's the response you have to have because some people might not want to do anything like in that way. They don't want to build, like maybe they don't want to build anything, and that's fine. But to me, it was like, if you want to build what you see in your head, you better speed it up because it could be all this could be taken away from you tomorrow. You have no idea.
I think a lot of people have something in their head that they think they want to build someday,
Yeah.
but they never get the call of, yo, you could potentially die really soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's the biggest blessing of forced action.
Yeah.
And what could we say or what could we suggest to people to get to that place without having that call?
I don't know. I don't know if you can, because the other thing that it did is it completely shifted my mindset away from caring about what anybody thinks about me.
Mm.
Like, I don't care because at the end of the day, I'm living my life, experiencing my life. Like, you are not.
Mhm.
And what I want to accomplish has no like bearing on your life, essentially. And so, like, that feeling that you would get of worrying about like, oh, I wonder what people think about me posting on social media, or like, is it cringe? All that shit goes out the window,
Mm.
or at least it did for me. And I think once that switch was flipped, I just started to do everything that I enjoyed or that I found happiness in. Um, that was a net positive for me. And yeah, like I don't know if you can flip that switch without there being an external force is the problem. Because I think that generally, even before then, I was pretty disciplined in how I went about things. But I think that you become accustomed to the voice in your head that says like, oh, we have time, like it's not perfect right now. So let's wait till it's perfect to start, but it's not ever going to be. And so you kind of just have to throw yourself into the fire and figure it out as you're going.